G'day, Sea Dog here. Welcome to my channel for high school drilling students.
Okay, year 9, so we're on our next video for our little leather project. You'll have your own design. This is mine, and so I'll give you the next little demo with this one as well, and that is cutting out the leather. So we've shaped it, and just for the video, I don't want you doing this, but just for the video, I've just gone around with a little black fine liner pen thing around the outside, just so it's a bit easier to see. So this video is cutting this shape out. So we're using just a couple of simple tools. I'm going to use this little wadding punch here. I'm going to use that to cut 4 little discs out here, holes out there, and then use the scalpel just to cut the straight edges between those, because when you use the scalpel to cut in a corner, it's easy to sort of miss bits. Hard to get right into the corner with a scalpel. Much easier if we've got an opening already to aim for. So that is our first tool, what's called a wadding punch. Cuts a little disc out. Then we've got our scalpel. Now this is brand new, or close to brand new, and this is 2mm leather, really easy to cut with a very sharp scalpel and almost impossible with a blunt one. So that's why if I'm doing it, I'll just get myself a new blade pretty much every time. Just saves a lot of strife with cutting it out. It's also safer because you don't have to force it, which means you don't have to do sudden sort of high pressure movements where you could slip and cut yourself. In terms of PPE, obviously you've got to have your glasses on, okay? That's when you're in the workshop, you got that on. With safety with this is obviously gashes and cuts. So you've got a super sharp implement tool, and it can be dangerous. The worst injuries I've done with a scalpel, or even like a Stanley trim or anything like that, is when I've been concentrating on cutting with a ruler so hard, and I've had a finger just over the, and I've just been concentrating on the work so much that I've missed the fact that I've got a little bit of a finger sticking over. And I've done that a couple of times now, and it's very painful because the nerves in your fingers are very sensitive. So, and we just want to avoid that. So that's one thing. If you're using a ruler, particularly keep really a close eye that you haven't got anything over the edge. Obviously, you're going to avoid this sort of thing where you're cutting towards yourself. You want to keep any digits, any part of our body away from the line of the scalpel, okay? Really, it sounds obvious, but it's important. The other thing is I don't want you to do this with your mates all crowded around you. Work at an individual bay or whatever, but if you get bumped, suddenly, without warning, when you've got a sharp implement in your hand, you can cause yourself a significant injury, so we want to avoid any of that. Also, I'm not cutting on Mr. Christmas's stainless steel benches. I've got one of these green things, okay, a green cutting mat. Come and ask me, I'll give you one. All your cutting has to be on one of those. Okay, so let's go to it. Before I cut out the outside shape, I'm actually going to cut out these two little holes for where the spinner of the little this thing goes. So because if I cut this out before I cut them out, these things are going to move and flop around a bit because there's less mass there. So it's easier to cut these out, and then I'm going to cut the spanner holes out, and then I'll go around the outside after that. Okay, so here we go. When I do the punch, I do need to have a block of wood. I'm not going to do that on the green mat. Okay, so here's my punch, and I'm going to put this just like that, right, match it to the corner of the marking out like that, and I'm just using a little metal hammer, little ball peen like that, and I'm just going to give it a tap there. Not quite, so maybe a touch harder, and there we go. So next one. Next one. Next one. Oi, come out. There we go. Okay, over here. Okie dokie, so I've got all my 4 holes up, punched out, easy to cut with the scalpel through there. Move off my bit of wood, and I've got my sharp scalpel and nice and tight, and I'm just going to use this ruler here and cut between those lines. So it actually makes the scalpel cut shorter, which makes it easier to get the whole thing out. Notice too, I'm not doing it like that where I'm sort of blind. I'm doing it like this, where I can actually see my line where the cut's got to go to and from. So just cut into the side a little bit like that. Just check that I've got him. Yep. Okay. Longer one. And just get it to the side. Yep. Go around here. And we're going to see how we go. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a part where it's grabbing on. There we go. Look at that. Gorgeous. Just trim him off. So that's actually the hard part's done now, these 2 holes here. So then we're just going to get our scalpel and dig it nice and deep into here and cut towards there, and then I'm just going to turn that back the other way and cut towards that line I've already cut, and that's going to stop me chopping too far into over the edge. So just little cut that way, turn it around, poke it in, little cut that way, into there. Okay, so this one. So just got a little bit hanging on, and you often find that in the corner where you just got to go and tidy it up.
Beautiful. Okay, then we're going to go here, poke it in, and just slowly drag it like that. Poke it into the corner, drag, poke. Okay, so that's loose up to there. So I'm going to just pop it in the hole that it's already cut. Just make sure I'm keeping my fingers not in front of the blade.